Alright, welcome to today's video everyone. Hopefully this is going to be a bit of a spicy video. We're looking through r/AmITheButthole. This is always pretty good for some spicy content, so let's see what happens. Am I the butthole for always dumping lemon on all my food? I might be the butthole here and will accept my judgment. I grew up in a big household where all food and leftovers were fair game, even when I became old enough to buy my own food. To combat this, I started absolutely drowning my food in lemon juice. I could tolerate the taste, and even grew to quite like it. No one would touch my prepared foods or leftovers. It's a habit I've carried well into my adulthood. I recently went on a large trip with some girlfriends. The Airbnb and excursions are all evenly split. Food is paid for by ourselves because some people have specialty allergies or foods. We have been going out to dinner the last few nights. I always ask for extra lemons at the table and soak my food before eating. After a couple days into the trip, one of the girls complained at breakfast that I was making food inedible to other people. This was news to me since the only food I was lemoning was my restaurant leftovers that I would eat the next day. What apparently had been happening since the first night was one of the girls, the one who complained, stays up later than the rest of us and would eat or pick at any leftovers, disregarding the names on the containers. After 2 times of trying my food on separate occasions, she realized what I was doing and was pissed. I said that she shouldn't be eating others' foods and that they weren't communal, and she said, "Well, it's just how the rest of us feel." No one else at the table said anything and breakfast was tense. Later, while getting ready to go out, the other girls one by one told me that they didn't like their leftovers being eaten and were glad I said something, but didn't want tensions going forward. That night at dinner, I purposely lemoned my food again. The complainer made an angry noise and stormed off to the bathroom. I didn't say anything, and the rest of the dinner continued normally without her, until she came back out sniffling before we left the restaurant. She gave me dirty looks the whole ride back. I am exasperated by this nonsense drama, but maybe I am being a jerk? Am I the butthole for souring the trip? Firstly, we have to applaud that pun at the end there. I mean, that's just legendary. You can let me know if you agree or not, but I think leftovers are yours. They're not everyone's. Even if I wanted someone else's leftovers, I'd ask them first, and you clearly can't do that if everyone's asleep. But also, like, from the story, you're lemoning your food. Oh, was it before you eat or just after you left? Yeah, she says, I always ask for extra lemons at the table and soak my food before eating. So she's lemoning her food before she even eats it for the first time. So clearly she's just become accustomed to this, and so this is what she does for flavor. Now, sure, I'm sure the food tastes fine without it, but you're really telling her that she can't eat her food the way she wants? It's not like she's, like, even if you thought that it was a butthole move to sour your leftovers so other people wouldn't eat it, it seems like she's doing this before she even starts eating, and so you're just judging her tastes at that point. Or at least that's how I see it. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter-in-law she is not a mother? I, 64F, have 3 kids and they are all married. This post is about my son and his wife Jenny. Jenny struggles with infertility and she has no children. My other son, daughter-in-law, is expecting next month, and my daughter has recently had her own grandson. Everyone was busy for Mother's Day and they couldn't meet up with me for the holiday. That's fine, they are starting their own families. I thought it would be nice to send my expecting daughter-in-law/son and my daughter a Mother's Day basket. So Jenny always made comments that her 2 dogs are the first grandkids. I always thought it was a joke. She is big on being a dog mom. My daughter posted a picture in the group chat of everything she got for Mother's Day and included the basket. My other and daughter-in-law also thanked me for her basket in the chat. Jenny called me soon after and asked where her basket was. I was confused and asked what she meant. I thought she was pregnant and she was just telling me now. She clarified since I have 2 grandkids by her already and said her dogs' names. I was even more confused at this, and she clarified that she is her dog's mother and should have gotten a basket. I told her she is not a mother. Mother's Day is for women that raise human children and not pet owners. She got really upset and cursed me out for not getting her a basket and that she is a parent. My son is telling me to apologize and to send a Mother's Day basket over. He is calling me a jerk for not sending her a basket and telling her she is a pet owner. This sounds just like a rough situation. Like, I don't think this OP is wrong, per se. You're not technically a parent to your pets, given that they aren't human children. That's not the same as adoption. Adoption would still be a parent, because that would be a human child. I also given that this person is dealing with infertility, they probably do latch onto that because that's something that they can raise, and you know, like, that's completely understandable. See it from the fact that, like, this really isn't the biggest deal in the world. You probably could have included your son's wife, just out of being nice, even though technically she's not a mother. It's not a luxury afforded to her, and she really wants it, and she's trying her best. Now, obviously, you would know that she's not a mother, but that being said, I'm not sure I'm willing to really call anyone the butthole. Just that, like, I get that, you know, you raised 3 kids, went through that. It probably feels like an exclusive club because of everything you had to go through, and that's fine. But also, someone's dealing with the fact that they won't ever be able to join it in the same way, and it could be nice to just make their life nicer. Am I the butthole for refusing to sign my parents' house, which is under my name, over to my wife if I die? So here's the backstory. In 2008, my parents lost most of their money, and it got to the point that we were no longer able to afford their house. My dad is quite a bit older than my mum, and his biggest worry is that he is not able to leave her enough to live and pay for a home/rent without having to financially rely on me and my sister. So this is the plan we came up with. We found a house with a large lot, and we bought it under my name. My parents put down a significant amount of their savings for the down payment for the property, and to build a detached accessory dwelling unit for them to live in. I lived in the main house for a while, and my parents in the ADU. The agreement was once I moved out, we would rent out the main house. I would be responsible for the main house maintenance, repairs, etc., and my parents are responsible for the ADU. We would split any property taxes not covered by the rental of the other property. I live in a very expensive area, so my parents will have a place to live for the rest of their lives with no stress about becoming homeless. And I end up with a great investment property that I already have quite a bit of equity in. I have the house in a trust. In the event of my untimely death, the ownership of the house will transfer to my parents and then transfer to my partner/offspring once they pass away. My wife wants me to change the trust to have the deed of the property to go to her instead of my parents. She says she of course will let them live there, but wants the control of the property if I die. I feel really uncomfortable signing over the house my parents paid for to her, even though it's in my name and I'm spending some money on property taxes and maintenance. I consider it their house since they have paid for everything. Part of the reason I feel uncomfortable is because when we were updating our life insurance policies once we got married, she made sure I removed my parents as beneficiaries and added her on as 100% beneficiary. But then she refused to add me as a beneficiary to a policy and had a 100% going to her sister. Am I the butthole for refusing to sign the house over to her? Without that last bit of context, I was hoping for the best, you know, as in, like, you know, the parents are getting on in age, they're probably, well, that's a dark way to say it, but, you know, they might pass away soon anyway, and so trying to, like, I don't know, make it easier. But the little end there kind of makes it seem like it kind of goes into gold digger territory. Could be wrong, just with the context we're given. It seems like she's trying to get the money from you if you die, and it sounds like the plot of a TV show, so I don't think you're the butthole for refusing that. I feel like, you know, we're only taking a snippet of their life, so there's a chance it's not as red flaggy as it seems, but it seems kind of bad. Am I the butthole for refusing to wash a huge pile of dishes at my friends with benefits house? I stayed over at my FWB's house, and in the morning I woke up to him in the kitchen making breakfast and cooking dinner for himself and his kids. He has them later today. The breakfast was pasta and bolognese warmed up from previous nights. After cooking, he said something along the lines of, "Since I've done all this, can you wash up the plates?" The thing is, the dishes were a massive pile, stuff left behind by him and other people staying at the house over time. None of it was mine. What bothered me the most was how he positioned it, as if he'd done something special for me and now I owed him something in return. I pointed out that he wasn't cooking for me, the dinner was for his kids and himself, and breakfast was leftovers. I told him not to frame it like he did all this for me when this wasn't the case. If he had just said, "Hey, since you've got the day off, could you help me with the dishes?" I might have actually considered helping. But the way he framed it rubbed me the wrong way. Then he started calling me a whingy bit, etc. I don't know what for will is, but I would never expect someone to wash dishes in my house, especially not a guest, especially not messes they didn't make. This seems like a very low stakes argument, which is cool. But it's one of those low stakes ones that, like, yeah, you probably would have done it. It's not that bad, but also, like, kind of said that weird to me, huh? And so now you don't feel like doing it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that he used the opportunity to get a woman over and have her clean all the dishes he didn't want to do throughout the week. I guess props if it worked out, but yikers. Would I be the butthole if I never made a cake for my one brother again, even though I'll keep making them for the rest of the family because of how he treated me at his wedding? Without even getting into it, you're doing something for people, you can do it for whoever you want. That's my thing going in. If you don't want to do it for something, you don't have to. My brother 20M and his fiance 20F asked if I would make their wedding cake. Context: I was a professional baker for years, but I'm not disabled, use a wheelchair, and have very limited energy. I'm not sure if that's not supposed to be there, so I don't do cakes professionally anymore, only for loved ones. I was happy to do it as my gift to them. We talked and agreed on a 3-tier white, sage, and gold cake with lots of white flowers and greenery. Sister-in-law said she would give me flowers for the cake so it would match hers. Week of, I baked 16 cakes, stacked, filled, and decorated them all into beautiful 3-tier cake. This took me 30 plus hours and every bit of energy left in my poor disabled body. But hey, he's my brother. He'd do the same for me, right? Day before, Mum was tasked to bring me the flowers for the cake, but when I saw them, I learned that she had changed their colors. The flowers were all orange and yellow, not the white flowers and greenery I'd made this cake for. Sister-in-law only gave Mum a few flowers, but the cake she asked for had tons, so I had to go out and get more after spending the last 13 hours on this cake. Plus, my brother called to ask if he could pick up leftover flowers because I took so many. Day of, my mum calls me to warn me that the venue, outdoors, is mostly paved but very steep, and that it's going to be hard for me to move. Part was being held in a field that would be incredibly difficult for me to roll across. I got out of photos late because they had not told the photographers that we needed anything with me in it first so that I could go, but we did make it in time to set up the cake. It looked cute, the flowers and greenery I got to mix in worked out. Then there was the part held in a field. A friend offered to push me, but I decided that since the whole family was watching, may as well give them a show. I chose to roll into place myself. This looked horrible. I was clearly having a hard time getting around. My other friend sitting in the crowd said that everyone around her went silent and stared in discomfort with how difficult this was for me. That's when I learned there was no accessible bathroom. Mum had to help me into the toilet with the door wide open and multiple people helping us. There was no note on how many guests can park, so someone was in the lines of the accessible spot. That made it so I couldn't get anywhere. We had to go get them to move their car, and the guy whose car it was treated me horribly. That's when I broke down in front of the whole family, crying and shaking from embarrassment, exhaustion, and betrayal. As soon as the cake was cut, I went to tell the bride and groom bye, and told my brother we are going to have a talk later. I am going to tell him that I'm never going to make him anything ever again. If they want cake, they need to buy it. They showed that they are not willing to put in even a fraction of the effort or thought that I gave them. Now, as I said at the start of the story, it's completely up to you. You can make a cake for whoever you want to and not for anyone you don't. Like, your brother is young, but he's lived his whole life with you. Whether or not you were disabled for all of that or not, context isn't there, but it doesn't really matter. Their fiance/wife probably hasn't, and so, you know, they probably were making selections based off of whatever they wanted. Your brother probably should have been able to get in there and put up a bit of a fight for you, saying how it's not accessible for you, or thinking of at least ways to make it accessible. And I get that, you know, it's their wedding, it's not about you, but they wanted something from you, they want their family there, you gotta make it so your family can be there. Am I the butthole for putting a fake spider in the bathroom after my sister kept using it to take 40-minute selfies? Okay, so I, 14M, share a bathroom with my older sister, 17F, and for the past few months, she's been basically turning it into her personal photo studio. She'll go there in the morning, do her makeup, and then spend 30 to 45 minutes taking selfies in the mirror with like 6 different outfits. Sometimes she even brings a ring light into the bathroom. The problem is, when she does this, no one else can use the bathroom. I've been late to school because I had to wait just to brush my teeth. My younger brother, 9M, has literally had to pee in the backyard once. I told her she needs to stop hogging, but she just says, get up earlier or you're being dramatic. So I decided to get petty. I bought a realistic looking fake spider off of Amazon, like $4, and stuck it behind the trash can in the corner, where she sets up her tripod. It didn't do anything for a few days, but this morning I heard her scream and then she ran out of the bathroom crying. She thought it was real. I told her it was fake and she called me a psycho. Now my parents are mad at me saying I traumatized her and that I need to be more respectful of space. But it's literally our bathroom. I didn't hurt her, I just wanted to get my sink back. Am I the butthole? Taking the story at face value, I wouldn't think you're the butthole, because what we have to infer from this is that there's only one bathroom, because you can't go anywhere else. So there's only one bathroom in this house. There's at least 3 kids and 2 parents, and this one kid is taking it up for 40 minutes, supposedly. Whether or not that includes the makeup time, who knows? This being respectful of her space, it's a bathroom, it's a shared space. So technically if she can take up the bathroom for 40 minutes, he can have a fake spider. I am a little biased because I like this petty. I also think it's weird that your parents haven't brought up anything and like told your sister off for spending 40 minutes in the bathroom. I mean, I guess maybe the parents have like an ensuite or something that they're using so they don't even realize. But like, just ask them. Just tell them about the situation, I mean, and hopefully they'll understand. Am I the butthole for telling my foster sister she ruined Mother's Day? I'm 17F, the youngest of 6 kids. I'm the only one still at home full-time, and my parents decided the house felt too empty, so they started fostering Lola 9 for a few months ago. Lola's cute, but she's kinda a pain in the ass. We have a big sectional recliner. Lola refuses to sit on the couch with us, so she has her own chair that is off limits to everyone else. If I want to go out to eat, it has to be with my dad or when my older sister 29 is available to babysit, because restaurants are too much for Lola. If we get takeout, she stays in her room and won't come out to eat until the rest of us are done. The only way she'll eat with us is if my mum cooks, so we have to do that almost every night. She hides food in her room, which attracts bugs, but she has a huge fear of bugs, so they've switched her room twice and have it deep cleaned every week to stop it from getting infested with bugs. She's also extremely attached to my mum and my older sister, so if they're around, everything revolves around her. On Sunday, we had a big Mother's Day party with our entire family. All of my siblings, most of my aunts, uncles, and cousins, and my grandparents came over. Everyone was in the backyard, but Lola was overwhelmed, so she made my mum stay in her room with her. My oldest sister tried to step in, but that ended up with both of them having to stay with her. After everyone left, I found my mum and Lola in the kitchen, making Lola's mac and cheese and dino nuggets. And I told Lola that she completely ruined Mother's Day for us by clinging to my mum. She started crying and went to her room. She hasn't left her room since I said that, and apparently my mum's having a hard time getting her to eat, so now my parents are pissed with me. I don't think I did anything wrong because I just told her the truth, but I wanted to see if I was an ass for saying that. I have a feeling that this kid's probably gone through some trauma. Especially, I mean, that's probably fairly obvious given that they're in the foster system. But, you know, there's got to be something to do with not having enough food. That's why she stores food. And, you know, it's probably not that rational because I'm sure that your parents offer her enough food, but she's 9, you know, it's going to be almost basic instincts rather than complete logic. And, you know, she's probably hugging onto your older sister and your mum because they're like mother figures for her, and they're probably like the closest she has, and she just wants that love. I'm not saying that it's not annoying for you, but she's a 9-year-old. She's a 9-year-old who's gone through a lot. It's probably best to, you know, cut her some slack, even if it is a little bit detrimental to your lifestyle. She probably needs it more than you know, especially because with this situation, it doesn't seem like you really know what's going on. Am I the butthole for expecting cousin to reimburse for flight and hotel when she uninvited me from wedding due to the bad behavior of relatives? I feel like you're missing a few words in there, buddy. My cousin is getting married at the end of the year. We've been good friends for most of our lives. She has no contact with her parents. She did not want to invite them to her wedding, but caved due to family pressure. At first she agreed to just let them come to the ceremony with the agreement that they'd sit in the back and not talk to her, but but no reception. Then family started pressuring her in increments. Then they said to let her dad walk her down the aisle. She said fine, but no reception. Then they pressured her to let them come, and just kept piling on the demands. I was on her side completely, and didn't agree with any of this. I had nothing to do with any of the pressure, and even told her she should tell our busybody relatives to pound sand, but she has difficulty with confrontation. She just wants to keep the peace. But since they just kept pushing and pushing until their parents become full-fledged guests with full-fledged parent of the bride rights, she finally snapped, uninvited everyone in the family. I can understand uninviting those who were pressuring her and not respecting boundaries, but I wasn't guilty of any of this, and I didn't do anything wrong, and I think it was completely unfair to lump me in with the rest of them in her. She said she uninvited everyone because it was too much, and inviting me while uninviting everyone else would cause too much drama. But how is this my damn fault? I asked if she could at least reimburse me for the flight and hotel. I did advance pay with Hilton, so it's non-refundable, and flight is non-refundable. I'm not wealthy, I had to save up for this. And she said no, she can't afford it. But I don't think it's fair that not only am I cut out of the wedding when I did nothing wrong, but also have to swallow this cost when I did nothing wrong. She said I should demand our busybody relatives pay for it, but of course they're not going to. Like, I feel bad for your cousin. I mean, she's dealing with what's clearly a pretty crappy family. Not only they not respect people's rights, but they keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Sounds terrible. I get that it's unfair that she uninvited you because of other people and not anything that had to do with you. And, you know, I think it's fair that you're a bit pissed off with it. Personally, I think that to hell with anyone else, invite who you want, even if other people are going to be upset. Who cares? It's your life, it's your wedding. Have there who you want there. So, like, that's my philosophy, but I understand why your cousin doesn't want the stress. It's really the money issue that's weird, because yeah, who should really be covering the costs? Obviously, you booked it with the intention of going, and now she doesn't want you to come, and so yeah, you'd really hope that she would cover you back for that. And yeah, it is the busybody's fault, and that so they should be paying for it. But you know, they're not going to. I would still ask them, see if you can get anything from them, but you probably wouldn't. I definitely don't think you're the butthole in this situation. I don't think there's anything here that could have made you the butthole. I guess the reimbursement is the thing, but if I were you, I think it's really where you cut your losses. Probably no one's gonna pay you back. Yeah, maybe someone should, but they're probably not going to. And so you've already got a flight and you've already got a hotel. May as well make the most of it. Take a little holiday. Hopefully wherever this was is somewhere nice, and you can go for a holiday anyway. They can't stop you from going on a holiday there. And then if you're already there, maybe your cousin will say, hey, I see you're in town. Why don't you come to the wedding? You never know. Alright, well, I think that's all the stories for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and peace.